Stores shut down, public gatherings banned, travel restrictions and physical distancing imposed, as a third of the world practices some form of a lockdown to slow down the spread of COVID-19.
Good evening and good morning, Excellencies, and very honorable representative from the country of Latin America and Caribbean, and IDB lab expert, and distinguished partners and guests online. Welcome, Born2Global Centre and the Pangyo Startup Campus. My name is Jong-Gap Kim, Chief Executive Director of the Born2Global Centre. It's a Korean government incubator and acceleration agency, which is under the Ministry of Science and ICT. It is a great honor to share with you the significant moment to collective global effort toward the advancement deep tech startup ecosystem. Today, we are unpacking and sharing with you the new project which can show the future guideline, the deep tech exchange, and collaborative partnership between Latin America, Caribbean, and Korea. With the good initiative and great leadership from the IDB lab, Born2Global Centre is working for develop the new program to helping the exchange deep tech company and idea, and also the collaborate project between Latin America, Caribbean, and Korea, also between startup to startup. I'm very happy to announce to you today is a new project which is called Latin America, Caribbean, and Korea Deep Tech Exchange Program. Out of many, many highlights, one of the significant point of this new initiative is we can support formation of the startup joint venture and or partnership prototype between Latin America and Caribbean and Korean startup. It means deep tech Korean startup will be matched innovative startup in your country to create the partnership. And global collaborative model, it brings to the sustainable and the last impact for your local economy. I'm looking forward, and Born2Global is looking forward to working with all ecosystem players, especially from the country who represent here today, to build deep tech startup ecosystem. And your strong and undivided and endless support will be very important and will be most appreciated for this successful new project. As you know, it takes a key leadership to translate breakthrough into the technology, to make the enable saving the life or digital transformation. So I believe that all your attendees today will be support and help each other to bring some new our initiative to be a success for the new normal period. We believe this is a very unique solution, even under the pandemic situation. We can exchange ideas, we can exchange the business, no matter what the situation. So your honorable leaders can help us to make this happen successfully. And by joining us today at this event, I think you already engaged, I believe that, and it can be a very helpful for between Latin American, Caribbean, and Korean young people, young startup, to make them global penetration. Thank you for joining us again. And I'm going to introduce one of our key strong partner, IDB Lab. They are in the online with us right now. And it's my honor to invite Irene Hoffman, who is the CEO of the IDB Lab, and on the stage. Irene?
Buenos días, John Nachem. Greetings from Washington, D.C. I'm Irene Arias, CEO of IDB Lab, the innovation laboratory of the Inter-American Development Bank Group. And it's great to be here with all of you today in this day of knowledge, of exchange, seeing representatives from so many countries of Latin America, the Caribbean, and from Korea. Thank you, Born2Global, for bringing these two worlds together. And it's particularly significant because we get to grow the bond with Korea as a partner country and develop knowledge around deep tech, which is going to be critical to generate a better future in Latin America and the Caribbean. At IDB Lab, as you probably know, we are an ecosystem builder and venture investor. We have done it for 27 years. We've deployed over $2 billion in innovative ideas, supported more than 90 venture capital funds, and financed over 450 startups. We want to grow this, and we know that the partnership with Korea will help achieve our goals. Korea has been ranked as #2 by the Bloomberg's Innovation Index, and it's also a forward-looking ecosystem that continues to evolve with the Digital New Deal policy that will invest over $62 billion in the technologies that are critical for the future, like 5G and AI. And we are already doing a lot between Korea and Latin America and the Caribbean. For example, we recently connected innovators in El Salvador, in Central America, with partners in Korea. We also organized a visit by investors from Korea to Latin America and the Caribbean to see the startup ecosystem in our region. And we have companies like Satellogic, a leading company in nanosatellites, that won the first place in the LAC-Korea pitch day in 2019. Now, let's talk about deep tech, because deep tech is a space where IDB Lab will be focusing strategically, given its high impact potential to create new solutions to some old and some new challenges. I'll give 3 examples. First, LAC-Chain and FairLAC. LAC-Chain is a global alliance for the development of blockchain ecosystem in Latin America and the Caribbean, and it's created an open tech infrastructure. Another, FairLAC is a related platform that is creating the solid basis for the responsible use of AI and other technologies. The second example is the COVID-19 response. At IDB Lab, we supported a call, an innovation call, 500 ideas came. We selected the top 20 for addressing COVID. And some of these ideas, some of these startups like Casper, next generation diagnostics, or NeuralMed AI for lung imagery, or Zeb Biotech, a genomic platform company for molecular diagnostics, came as some of the top-rated ideas that we then financed. And these are extremely interesting ideas to exchange also with Korean innovators. The third example are our own portfolio startups, like, for example, the one we've invested in natural language processing, CityBeats, which then creates social insights that can give us better tools and better information to be able to tailor our response and our actions to what people really on the ground need. Or, very important in the cybersecurity space, we recently invested in VU Security, a leading company that also participated in the LAC-Korea pitch day. So as we continue to develop deep tech ecosystem, connections, and also knowledge in this space, we want to grow our partnership with Korea. And with that, I once again thank you for this kickoff, and let it be the continuation of a great partnership and great synergy between these two worlds. And we very much look forward to forming greater connections and generating real value for Latin America and the Caribbean together. Thank you.
Thank you for Irene. And did you notice she using the background like a Korean traditional divider? Thank you. And finally, this is most highlight point of this event. Is we're gonna open and explain all the detail of the new initiative program. So I'm gonna invite Mr. Seokjin Chang, who is the director of the International Cooperation of the Born2Global Centre. Seokjin.
Thank you. Excelentísimos embajadores, excelentísima embajadora, distinguidos participantes, bienvenidos, and welcome to our unpack of this new innovative project for collaboration between Korea and the great nations in Latin America and the Caribbean. I'm honored and thrilled to be the presenter of our new initiative. Let me start by explaining to you a little bit about where you are, the Born2Global Centre. The Born2Global Centre is a global hub for innovative tech startups. We provide an array of services to aid startups' global market entry and market expansion. We like to think of ourselves as curators for startups rather than managers. So we try to curate their products, their solutions, and their global market expansion strategies in collaboration with our global partners around the world. Another unique aspect of this Born2Global Centre is that we are under the Ministry of Science and ICT. So we do not work with all startups. We work specifically with startups that are in the area of deep tech and innovative and breakthrough technologies. We work in an array of different stages. Our key characteristic is that we select our membership companies. And the way we select them is also very interesting. We select our membership companies through 3 stages, and we evaluate a key aspect of startups. Are they ready to go global? Are they ready to work with overseas companies and partners? Are their products and solutions fit for the global market? Once they are selected as our partner and as our member company, we go through an intensive consultation process ranging from legal to patent to accounting, all the way to investment and marketing to help them explore the global market. Over the past 6 years, we have consulted over 12,000 cases to over 2,400 startups. We have established over 80 overseas corporations with our startups, and we have attracted over $580 million for our membership companies. This is our vision and strategy, and we operate on 2 wheels of activities. The wheel on your left is the Global Entrepreneurship Hub and Bridging activity, whereas the wheel on the right is the Global Innovation Platform, which is precisely why we are unpacking this new program today. Because our key activities under this Global Innovation Platform involve global business partnership building and deep tech sourcing. Now I would like to talk to you a little bit about what we aspire to do with the great nations and the innovative startups in the countries of Latin America and the Caribbean. It all started exactly 3 years ago in October of 2017 when the former president of IDB visited this Born2Global Centre and realized that this center would be a key partner for the ecosystem players and the startups in Latin America and the Caribbean. Since President Moreno's visit, we have worked on a variety of activities with our partners in Latin America and the Caribbean. We did a lot of institutional partnership exchanges. We also conducted reciprocal startup ecosystem studies to learn from each other's experiences. We also held a Korea LAC Pitch Day event for the startups of Korea and Latin America and the Caribbean. Beginning last year, we started to talk with the IDB Lab on a new grand project which would strengthen the collaboration between the startups of Korea and Latin America and the Caribbean. But then, as you well know, excellencies and distinguished participants, COVID-19 hit the global world, which turned the world upside down. But COVID-19 also made us realize that geographical distance did not matter anymore. Before COVID, China and Japan were the nearest countries to Korea. After COVID, it doesn't matter anymore, and it turns out Latin America and the Caribbean are just as close to Korea as China and Japan are. And it has actually brought us even closer through COVID-19. We realized that a portion of business travel will never return. And we realized that businesses will minimize direct personal contact, and also global distancing will remain an issue to be solved during and even in the post-pandemic world. But that has not stopped us to collaborate. We realized that tech matching and forming cross-border joint ventures are becoming more important, and this will enable us to continue with our mission of globalizing startups in the pre- and during and post-pandemic era. And this is what we aspire to do, is to form joint ventures to tech match and to collaborate deep tech startups from Korea and deep tech startups and innovators and entrepreneurs from the great countries in Latin America and the Caribbean. This is the freshly delivered program introduction sheet from the IDB Lab, and I would like to point out just a few important aspects of our new program, which we would like to call Deep Tech for the New Normal, Latin America and the Caribbean, Korea Deep Tech Exchange Program. The program was born based on the fact that there are many challenges caused by COVID-19. And during this process of overcoming the challenges, we have seen that Korean deep tech startups have played a crucial role in not just confronting the challenges of COVID, but also confronting and even accelerating digital transformation. We have realized that exchanges with our LAC deep tech counterparts and ecosystems has become even more important for reciprocal mutual development. Over the short term, through this program, we hope to mitigate the effects caused by COVID-19 in all of our countries. Over the medium term, we hope to speed up economic recovery and reopening in Korea and Latin America and the Caribbean. Now, moving on to the key aspects of this new initiative, we will seek to finance up to 5 to 7 pairs of companies that are formed between Korea and Latin America and the Caribbean. So we hope to find Latin American startups and Korean startups that will start a new joint innovation pilots. These innovation pilots may include forms of joint ventures, knowledge exchange, knowledge transfer, or other creative and innovative ways of collaborating that I'm confident that our startups will be able to find as they work together. We will work with startups in all kinds of sectors, including health tech, biotech, agricultural technology, climate tech, industry tech, and ed tech. But these technology sectors will not be limited. We will open this up to the creativity of the entrepreneurs in Korea and Latin America and the Caribbean. What we will do with our ecosystem players, we hope to partner with the ecosystem players in Latin America and the Caribbean. We want to have our LAC ecosystem players select their most innovative and breakthrough technology holding startups to us. And in addition, the ecosystem player whose startup is selected for this prototype, for this collaboration, will actually be eligible to receive an acceleration fee. So whereas the joint ventures that are formed will receive grants from the IDB lab, the entities who will manage this joint venture process and acceleration will also receive an acceleration fee from the IDB lab. The IDB lab will be partnering with us, the Born2Global Centre, to facilitate this connection with the Korean ecosystem and, of course, the ecosystem in Latin America and the Caribbean. So, what can you do? To all our LAC ecosystem players and builders that are watching today, including accelerators, company builders, universities, corporate venture hubs, we ask you to start our partnership. Partner with us in sourcing, in finding and matching the most innovative and deep tech startups from your countries. And we are here to work with you. If you're a startup in a country in Latin America and the Caribbean, or in Korea, or if you're an institution in LAC, please reach out to your LAC ecosystem builder so that they will vouch for you, or you can reach out to us or the IDB Lab directly, and we will evaluate, we will assess you, and we will see where it takes us. After this event today, we will be sending out program information documentation to all of you. We will be also sharing a recommendation form that our LAC ecosystem players will be able to use to recommend your respective deep tech companies. We will be starting our deep and intensive networking process with the respective ecosystem players in all the countries in Latin America and the Caribbean to find the best players to work together. We will also ask you, excellencies who are present here today, for your efforts in strengthening your bilateral support from the government sector as well in implementing this grand new project that we hope will build global startups and unicorns that will expand not only in Latin America and the Caribbean, but to other continents and to the global market. Just a brief overview on the process of how this program will be implemented. Born2Global Centre will be selecting 100 most innovative and deep tech companies from Korea. We will be working with our LAC ecosystem partners to source the companies from the Latin America and the Caribbean. Once we have sourced our startups, we will start a mapping process. We will map these startups by industry, market, technology sector, and funding stage. Once that has been done, we will select the most innovative startups through a specific criteria. And with these selected startups, we will start our online and hopefully offline matching process. Once that we have found some credible and workable matches, we will recommend these partnerships to the IDB lab, which will go through a selection process and let us know which pairs have been selected. Even after these joint ventures are formed, Born2Global and IDB Lab and our ecosystem players will work together. We will help them accelerate. We will help them through the POC or process. We will help them through the PMF process. We will help them until their product and solutions are ready for the market, out in the market, and expanding in the global market as well. So we ask you, distinguished participants and excellencies who are here today, while the Born2Global Centre will work with our Korean companies to find the best candidates, we ask you to find the LAC companies who will work with us to create these innovative joint venture partnership prototypes. Once selected, we hope that the Korean deep tech company and the LAC deep tech company will form a local joint venture. So the joint ventures that are formed will not be headquartered in Korea. They will be headquartered in your respective great nations. And that local joint venture, while receiving the prototype financing from the IDB lab for financial support and tech matching, will also go through an intensive company building and company acceleration process through our Born2Global Centre Design Lab, which will provide R&D consulting functions as well as the joint venture acceleration functions. Once they have grown and once they have their product and solution, a local product and solution, we will send them globally to participate in global projects and hopefully expand regionally in Latin America and the Caribbean, but also into the global market. For example, we have an innovative startup in Korea which has an IoT water quality sensor. They have a solution where they use laser to detect bacteria and other sediments in water. While they have this innovative solution, they have yet to expand to the Latin American and the Caribbean market, and they are actively looking for partners. Now, if we can find a Latin American and Caribbean local entrepreneur who is also working in the water quality industry, they have their own solution for testing water, but they find this Korean company solution much more applicable. We'll put them together, form the joint venture, join their technologies together to come up with a localized solution for that respective nation, provide the prototype financing from IDB Lab, provide the acceleration function from Design Lab, and send them into the global market. And that is what we aspire to do. So that has been our Latin American Korea Deep Tech Exchange Program, Unpacked. Now, I'm sure you have some questions and answers, and I understand that we have a few questions standing by online, so if you allow me, let me address those questions from online first before we address the floor. I think our first question comes from GridX in Argentina. So please, GridX.
And congratulations for this wonderful initiative. I have a question regarding the amounts of funding that you're thinking in each project. If you can tell us a little bit more about that.
Thank you very much, Matthias. He's a venture capitalist, so he's asking about money, which is very, very obvious. Thank you very much. Yes, the amount will be finally determined by the IDB Lab, but we have just heard that the amount that will be the grant that will be provided for these joint ventures formed will be between $100,000 and $150,000 US for each joint venture once they are finally selected and approved by the IDB Lab. Does that answer your question, Matthias?
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthias. We'll be seeing you shortly. We have another question standing by, I believe, from Pro Colombia. Do we have Pro Colombia online?
Hello, everyone. This is Teresa from Pro Colombia here in Korea. I have just one question. Considering that we will gonna have at least 5 joint ventures between Korea and Latin America, how many companies of each country will be selected for this process?
Thank you very much for the question. Yes, unfortunately, this first phase of the program, which will last about 1.5 to 2 years, we will aspire to select up to 7 joint ventures from the countries in Latin America, Caribbean. Obviously, the quota has not been set for each country. It's a very competitive process. What we want to see is to build future unicorns through the collaboration of Korea and countries in Latin America and the Caribbean. So it will not be first come, first serve basis, obviously, but the most innovative and deep tech startups will be selected regardless of the country or the region. Does that answer your question? I believe so.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pro Colombia. Now I believe we can have some questions and answers from the floor. So if any of the excellencies here have any questions, please raise your hand. We'll have a microphone for you. Excellency?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bruno Figueroa, Ambassador of Mexico. It is very refreshing to be here today and to change the subject from what has taken us this year so busy around the world. So thank you very much for Born2Global for this initiative. I remember last year that you were very active in launching this initiative between Korea and Latin America, but of course, due to COVID-19, it has to be postponed. But I see that you have been working a lot in this year, so again, congratulations. Well, this is a very, very interesting and challenging initiative, precisely because our governments and our economy has been this year so much focused on COVID-19. So we will do what we can do from our part in order to support that we can provide companies trying to do the match with Korean companies. You presented very well the process in order to be selected and to get the grants, but it was not clear to me the timeline. In how much time will you give to each part of the process in the selection and the finalization of the selection of those 7 final pairs? Because this is key, and it's not easy to find matches between companies so far away from Korea and with ecosystems in innovation so different, not only between Korea and Latin America, but even within Latin America. So I think we need a good period of time in order to present companies that could be selected in the better way, really to find the best companies that can match with Korean companies. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador, and great question coming from the great and excellency ambassador from Mexico. Yes, very, very good question. To answer your first question about the timeline, we have not set a timeline where we will announce the 7 pairs at this point in time. It will be a flowing process. So as we go on, we'll be selecting the joint ventures as we meet the startups and as we find the startups on the way. So it will be a running process, if you will. How do we select these startups? We will hold at least 2-3 online meetups between startups of Korea and Latin America and the Caribbean. We have done some testing with some countries. We have seen that even through 2 or 3 online meetups, this is possible. And I'm very honored to be presenting to you right after this session a few startups that have already started talking, even if they've just met online 2 times. So this is possible, we believe. And we believe, as I mentioned in the beginning, that we are curators. We are experts at it. We are good at analyzing, assessing startups, and finding the right match for each other. So we believe that we can do this, and we will go through this in a running process, Mr. Ambassador. And thank you for your question again. Sir.
Thank you very much. Also, thank you for this invitation to this, I think, very timing event regarding this important issue for all our countries here. I would like to mention also that you already informed us about many sectors that could be covered by this new program. But I would like to know also if there are another fields that is not covered, but you mentioned what you mentioned before, that can be also proposed, made a proposal. Because in my country, for example, we have the renewable energy, and so these are very crucial issue for us. So I think also that it's possible to cover by this program. And the other issue is also the communication process. Of course, we as an embassy here, we have an office here, so we communicate our government, and then we have the divulgation process, the sharing process, information sharing process. So how to communicate after this event with you? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and great questions. To answer your first question regarding what kind of tech areas we're looking for, as I mentioned in the beginning, Born2Global Centre and IDB Lab have identified short-term and mid-term goals of this program. The short-term goals being mitigation from COVID effects, and medium-term goals being economic revitalization and economic reopening. So we would like to focus on a lot of the technologies that will enable your societies and economies to cope with the challenges, including social distancing, non-contact, online solutions, transferring education to online, transferring recruitment to online, and all these kinds of different solutions that require AI, data, and network. I also agree with you, sir, in terms of the importance of climate change and also renewable energy. And we will hopefully find a lot of startups that work in that area, because I can assure you that renewable energy and climate change and green technology is a key pillar of economic revitalization and reopening in the post-COVID era. So we will focus on that sector as well. So yes, I can promise you that. Regarding the process, what we ask of you and all of our online attendants is that you reach out and you let this program be known. That is all we ask, that you let your governments, that you let your startup-related entities and agencies know that this program has been launched, and that we are here, that IDB Lab is here to talk with them. And once we get connected, we are experts. We will take on from there. So as long as you keep us connected and network us, we will take on from there and try to find the most innovative startup joint ventures and partnerships. Thank you very much for your question. Well, I think that's all the questions we have from the floor today. Oh, and we have one more question, I'm sorry. Yes. Oh, two more questions, okay?
Thank you very much. Gloria Cid from Ambassador of Chile. I'm very glad to hear your explanation and your enthusiasm in order to promote this, the startup and this initiative with the IDB. Startup is a program that my government has been following and promoting for many years, not only now, but in the beginning of 2010. So Chile has been a pioneer in the global market of startups, and the problem that we have is that the government in the beginning promoted the startups and the conformation of in different sectors. But they reach a point when they have enough money and they move away from the country. So that is our main problem. Now we are focused in the startup, but in the sector of digital economy, digital commerce, digital products, which is the new, I would say, the new market in this area, especially with the pandemic. So my question here is that you have a partnership with the IDB. I would like to know how the percentage of this partnership and how the Latin American countries can benefit in the terms of shares when they are fully operating. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Yes, and I know very well, as you mentioned, that Chile and many innovative startups from Chile. Yes, in terms of what we aspire to do with the innovative startups and how we will work with them and the shares, as I mentioned in the very beginning, this is, as you can see, a partnership prototype program. It's never been done. It's very, very new. It's innovative, but nobody knows for sure if it will work, if startups will be interested in working with this way. We are hoping that through COVID-19 and other measures, startups will be limited more and more into their domestic market, which will help them and which will inspire them to work with us through this initiative. But it is a very new program, and I can promise you that based on the results of running this pilot program for 1.5 to 2 years, we will assess the feasibility and the results and the effectiveness of this joint collaboration program. And if needed, we will expand. And I believe that decision will be made by IDB Lab as we approach the end and as we create these joint venture startups, joint venture partnerships with the startups. And we'll make the decision then, I believe. Thank you very much for the question. Excellency?
I'm Raúl Matute Mejia. I'm the ambassador of Peru. Thank you very much for your explanation. It's a very simple question because I can understand that now in this time of our life, everything do it virtual, you know. But I wanted to know specifically if you have some kind of representative in Peru, either through the embassy, COICA, COTRA, or you have your own people there. Because as you know, Peru is a quite big country with a lot of mountains and jungles and something like this. And we wanted to go close to these people, you know, because more information is in the coast, you know, who are more population there and more companies, but in the mountains and the jungle is different. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for the question. Yes. With Peru and with the startups that you have mentioned in Peru and they take into account the local situation, I would like to say that we like to work with people in the field. We don't work with representatives. We are people in the field. We are the curators that meet every single day with all of our startups, solve their challenges with them, try to find solutions with them, and we would like to do the same, and we would like to work with the same people in your country that are facing the same challenges as us. So basically, we want to find venture capitals, we want to find accelerators, we want to find agencies like Born2Global in Peru who have experienced the startups and who are ready from day one to collaborate with us and work with us. So not representatives really, but the people in the actual ecosystem, the ecosystem players are the ones we are looking for, and we will appreciate if you connect any of them that come to your mind. Thank you very much. We have a few startups standing by today to present to you a few issues and their challenges and how they have solved them and how they are collaborating. We have Checker from Korea. Checker is a startup that has taken data management and data visualization to a whole new level. And they have worked with us trying to find a local Latin American and Caribbean partner company. Let's hear from Checker.
Hi, everyone. My name is Peter, head of business development at Checker. At Checker, we make QueryPy a SQL editor for collaboration and compliances. I'm going to share with you some of the slides that we prepared. So what are today's companies busy with these days? Well, across sectors, regions, all the best companies are looking for data. I've looked at a few cases, but for example, Amazon has grown by at least 30% by looking at customers' past search records and other profile information and recommending things like the customer's best suited shampoo brands. Pick, for example, Seoul City. Seoul City has used population's traffic, telecommunication traffic to predict and figure the best bus route, which resulted in 10% increase of transport capacity. While companies are storing and analyzing customers' data in the past decade, they became more prone to internal data leaks. Government and organizations had to impose tighter regulations and guidelines to companies for managing personal data. GDPR, for example, fines up to 4% of a company's total revenue when these laws are violated. So clearly, there are hurdles to the data heaven. Even huge Fortune 500 companies struggle to meet these demands and thus struggle to manage their databases. They're spending more time and money. And with the onset of the data compliances across all business sectors, ranging from payment, where they have PCI DSS, medical, where they have HIPAA compliance, and regions like CCPA, where it's applied in US, GDPR in EU, LGPD in Latin America, Companies have now entered a new business world, and it is the era of IT compliance. Let's take a look at how this means and what this means to companies and their employees in their day-to-day operations. Here we have a marketer asking for an Excel file from a time period to conduct revenue predictions. As you can see, the developer who has the ability to help her completing that task is taking longer than expected because of the inefficient data accesses. And what's happening? Well, there's a huge loss in productivity in the team as analysts, developers, and administrators are all involved in safeguarding data, trying to bind to the compliance requirements. At the end of the marketer's request for accessing data, we have the CEO of the company who has a number of mission tasks. He doesn't want to pay the GDPR penalty. His company should prevent data leaks, and he wants to solve this problem with the lowest cost possible. Thus, within a company, there's a conflict of interest. Analysts and marketers, they want insights backed by data. And developers, who are the actual executors of that request, require convenient access to databases without compromising on their productivity. The securing monitoring teams want to maintain their compliance certifications. So in this scene and in this vast number of problems, we ask as a company, where is the market opportunity? Where is the money? Well, if you look at the recent IT M&A deals, we have some huge mega deals that were made over the past few months. We just heard from a week ago that Twilio, a chat platform based in Silicon Valley, acquired Segment, a data integration tool, for a valuation of $3.7 billion. And what is the common thread in these mega IT M&A deals? Well, it's that all these companies see that money is where data is. Businesses need insights backed by facts and data safely and quickly as possible. And that is why QueryPy focuses on providing database access features for compliances, like sharing database connections and user activity tracking. And this is our solution for companies' problem. QueryPy operates on web browsers as opposed to software installations, and execute queries very smartly and quickly, and integrates to cloud and Docker environment, which is very prevalent in today's IT world, and manages access control and audit very, very conveniently. This is how it looks. The SQL editor on your left and the admin tool on the right, integrating data analysis and management from end to end. So within a workspace, admins can now invite users without entering database connection info manually, saving time and their resources. We offer features for maximized collaboration through features like Query Directory, where users can save queries, leave comments, and tag accounts for efficient communication everywhere, anywhere. And that is why, since our launch in September this year, we were able to onboard companies like Yanolja, Korea's #1 platform for hotel and leisure bookings. The senior database engineer from the team has said that we are an ideal solution for configuring security functions. And we also had onboarded Kakao, Korea's #1 mobile platform, who claimed that QueryPy is the one and only tool for cloud and Kubernetes environment. This is our take on the market. We see that our obtainable market is the local database access and data masking market, valued at around $0.2 billion. We see that the total addressable market, being the data analysis market, is valued at about $40 billion. And these are our 4 target verticals. We see that the fintech and e-commerce are the 2 top priorities for obvious reasons. These are typically the companies that handle vast amount of data. And we're speaking with some of the major companies like Kakao Pay, Kakao Commerce, and Zigzag. Zigzag being Korea's fastest growing shopping platform for female, and few others. And we have also some potential leads from the US side, obviously leveraging on our Y Combinator network. We're talking with Bonfire and Sandberg. And these are some tractions from our side. Our target revenue for this year to highlight is about $0.7 million. And for next year in total is about $3 million. And how do we plan to get there? Well, I believe through partnerships like the one we plan to have or establish with Robin tests. And I'd like to propose how a partnership between QueryPie and Robin might look like, both in business and technological perspectives. Considering the business side of the things, QueryPie and Robin have built a great business network through our own accelerator participations in Y Combinator and Global Ventures, which expands to partnering for fundraising or making sales opportunities. Two companies plan to help each other expand its business regions, namely into Asia. Obviously, we have our presence here, and also in the US, where our headquarters is, and Latin America, where both companies could find strong user bases. We're also similar in that we're B2B SaaS, so we can come up with various package pricing models for each other. And also the fact that we're both data driven, being AI and business intelligence, and our market adds up to 100 billion, around about 100 billion US dollars, doubling the market size for each other. As both companies share overlapping sectors, there appears to be a good fit for collaborative marketing and content generations. Looking at how the two would partner using technologies, QueryPie plans to explore more about Robin's AI to provide an integration module for our customers. And Robin also handles a lot of customer data and thus is required to guard data under compliance regulations. So QueryPie plans to provide database tool for keeping and accessing data safely. Processes for ETL and machine learning could be integrated through APIs as well in both companies' platform, creating huge technological synergy. Also, because QueryPie is an editor for SQL and Python, the programming tool might be used in both parties by the developers. And yeah, so this is the exciting future that we hope to create by participating in this mission. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was Peter Shin from Checker. It's an amazing database company. And although we are unpacking this new collaboration project today, they have already found the potential partner that they would like to work with, which brings us to their potential partner that Peter just talked about, Robin Tests. It's a startup in Argentina. They work in a very innovative sector, which they have merged recruitment with AI. So here's Robin Tests for you. Robin Tests.
Hello, thank you. Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you for this invitation. I'm Noelia Aguirre. I'm CEO and founder of Robin. I have the honor to be the CEO of one of the few neurotechnology startups in Latin America. We have created Robin to empower the world to make better decisions. I want to show you my screen and my presentation. Okay, can you see it, right? Good. Okay, let's talk about how we make decisions. We we make more than 35 decisions a day. It is important to know that only the 5% of these decisions are conscious. The other 95% are unconscious. So we build a platform that let us measure this non-conscious information, these unconscious traits. So let me, okay.
I think we are having a connection problem from Noelia Aguirre from Robin Tests. As she was talking, Robin Tests has a solution where they have taken online testing platforms to test people, to assess people, introduce AI, and tell people what kind of people and what kind of employees, future people in the companies they might be. So once we get back with Noelia, we'll put her back on. Is she back on? No. Okay, well, unfortunately, I think there has been a connection problem from Noelia, but these things happen, as you understand, during this online world that we live in through COVID-19. This brings us to the final chapter of our event. We have unpacked today with you the LAC-Korea Startup Prototype event and our program. As you have seen, although we have missed a big part from Robin Tests, we are just unpacking this new program, but we have already found some potential candidates that are talking about forming partnerships between Korea and Latin America and the Caribbean. So we are confident that this is possible. It will help us mutually. It will grow our ecosystems mutually. And at the end of the day, it will help us even prosper in the post-COVID era. So I thank you once again for joining us in our effort to make our startups and help our startups make the world a better place to live in. To finish this off, I would like to invite Mr. Jong-Gap Kim back to the stage for some closing remarks. Mr. Kim?
For a long time, thank you for listening. And actually, today is a very exciting day to opening something new. But at the closing remark, I want to ask you very sincere collaboration, because it's much, much more difficult to matchmaking between men and women. So company to company matching, especially in the different region, different continental, totally is kind of chaos project. So that's why we don't have any limitation or some fixed platform or formation. So it depends on matchmaking possibility. We're gonna keep going. So first project is maximum, our deadline is 12 months, but there's no limitation earlier deadline. So if we find very qualified 7 company in a month, it's done. The project is done in 1 month. But key factor is like a checker and the lobbying case. We are not share or export some country's technology or product to the other country. The key ingredient of this project is mixed together. So share the technology, share the money, and share the market. That's the key element. So like the example of the lobbying and the checker, they share the market. So they're using their counterparties' technology to expand their business in their local market. That's the key ingredient. So no matter what the area or what stage, just let us know. And without your leadership or some emphasis, I think 12 months is too short to matchmaking 7 companies. So I hope you support us continuously, and we will make the success story. Thank you. Thank you for attending.